Hi, I'm Shabana and this is Amrita, and we're the Maverick makeup artists from the Cloakroom. We're here today to tell you about the 6 essential brushes you need for your makeup kit. These 6 brushes are all that you need for all the makeup that you're going to wear. And later on in the show, we're going to tell you about the one wonder brush that doubles up to do a variety of things and can change the shape of your face.
The first brush that you need is a foundation brush. Now you can apply foundation with your fingers, but I think the application is much better with a foundation brush. Also the blending is much better. You can buy an individual foundation brush like this, or you could also go for a dual brush like this.
So what do you really look for in a foundation brush? So if I've got this, what am I looking for when I go to the store?
When you're buying a foundation brush, always go for a brush that is thin, as thin as possible, and tapering on the top here.
Okay.
Can you see how thin that is?
Right.
It really tapers on the top.
And why is that?
It's because it doesn't trap too much product, doesn't trap excessive product. It takes only as much product as you need, and that helps you, avoid patches and cakey makeup and makeup
so you
that
get
looks like
a more
mask.
natural finish with a thinner brush.
That's right, and it's also easier to apply, easier to blend with a thinner brush like this.
And would you suggest that economically it makes more sense to buy a dual brush?
It makes far more sense to buy this brush. This brush would give you a 2-in-1 application, that's concealer as well as for foundation. But if you're in the mood to spend a little more, you can always go for a separate brush like this.
So basically the way to tell a concealer brush from a foundation brush is actually just by its size, because if you look at the dual brush, the concealer brush is a smaller version of the foundation brush. So these are your first 2 essential brushes.
Yes.
The brush after that, which I think is really essential, is your big fluffy powder brush. You can totally see the difference between this brush and the foundation brush simply because it's fluffy.
It is.
And we use this basically for powder. So whether you want to set your foundation, whether you just want to skip your foundation and go just with powder, it's a hot day, you really don't want anything on your face, you're sweaty, you're greasy, all you need is this brush and a compact powder or a loose powder and you're good to go.
So are you saying that this brush can be used only for dry products and you can't really use a wet product?
Yeah, the moment you put a wet product on a brush like this, it's going to clump. Your 4th essential brush comes when you're using either a bronzer or a blush. Now, where do we technically use bronzer and blush on our face?
On the cheek or under the cheekbone?
Exactly. So now when you normally use a fluffy brush, you can use a fluffy brush for your blush. It's fine. But the reason we recommend this is because you use the angle of the brush towards the angle of your face and you just work the product in this manner. So you've got the right amount of product on your face, it's not gotten everywhere, and it gets the job done in half the time. The next brush, which I am going to talk about, brushes actually, are basically these. What are they for?
Eyes?
Yeah, because Indian women love dressing up their eyes.
It's all about our eyes, isn't it?
It's true, it is true. So here you have what we call a eyeshadow application brush and an eyeshadow blending brush. You can totally see the difference between these 2 brushes. This is longer, thinner, slimmer, fluffier, and this really looks like a softer concealer brush. It looks like a fluffy concealer brush.
It is different, isn't it?
It is different because it's fluffy and it's for a dry product like eyeshadow, and this is for a wet product like concealer. But if you look at it in terms of size, it's pretty similar. Now, normally, these will not be sold to you in an eyeshadow eye brush kit.
Really?
That is the way it is. So if you're looking to buy one, it makes more sense to buy these loose. So the application brush has one function and one function only, and that is to apply the product onto your eyelid. So you use it on an angle, you dab the product onto your eyelid, and that's all this brush does. To evenly blend the product, you use the blending brush. So you go from inside to out in equal strokes, and that's your eyeshadow on your eye.
Is it so important to blend?
Yes, it is, because your eyes are constantly opening and shutting, and
Right.
because you've got powder, eyeshadow is a powder, it will go into the creases, it will cause patches, And if you have deep set eyes like mine, every time you look up, you're going to get a ring of color under your eyebrow, which you really don't want because it looks messy. The last brush I'm going to talk about is the Wonder brush. It doesn't really look like a wonder. In fact, it looks funny looking and weird.
It's really tiny for a Wonder brush.
It is, isn't it? And it's basically a 3-in-1 brush. So its first function is to brush your eyebrows. Did you know that just by setting your eyebrows correctly, you can change the contours of your face?
Wow.
Yeah, it's much cheaper than surgery. So you really, all you need is just to brush your eyebrows into place and your face can completely change. It opens out your eye area, it actually lifts your cheekbones. It's really quite magical, although it doesn't look like it. The other function that it does is that it stops your mascara from clumping. Now, how often have you walked out with like these 4 huge stuck mascara lashes?
All the time, Shabana.
And you've looked at yourself and gone, really? But all you need to do is wiggle this at the base of your lash and work it towards the tip, and it will remove clump mascara residue. You can also use it before you apply your mascara just to separate out your lashes. So if there's any one brush that you really should invest in, and it honestly doesn't cost that much, it's this one. This is the one brush that you really should have.
So now you know you don't have to go running around from outlet to outlet, store to store, looking for so many brushes. All you need are these 5 or 6 essential brushes and you're good to go with your makeup kit. No need to burn a hole in your pocket.
And if you have any more questions, queries, tips, anything that you'd like to share with us or ask us, please subscribe to this channel and we will get all your questions answered ASAP.